Support for this podcast comes from the Central Valley Journalism Collaborative, connecting communities with the resources, infrastructure, and networks to ensure a vibrant local free press.
From KVPR in Fresno, this is Central Valley Daily. It's Wednesday, April 16th. I'm Elizabeth Arkalian. Vermont Senator Bernie Sanders made a stop in Bakersfield Tuesday as part of his Fighting Oligarchy tour, where he railed against President Donald Trump.
This is a guy who wants more and more power for himself, and that is not the kind of government that Americans fought and died to create.
Coming up, we'll hear his exclusive conversation with KVPR's Joshua Yeager about why he visited Bakersfield. But first, these news headlines. Republican Congressman David Valadao has a Democratic challenger for the 2026 election. Randy Villegas is a political science professor at College of the Sequoias and a trustee of Visalia Unified School District. Villegas announced his candidacy for Congress on Monday while emphasizing the need for a working-class representative of the area. The swing district has been a fundraising target for Democrats for years, but Congressman Valadao has held his seat in every election except one since 2012. An escaped convict from Kern County is wanted for murder in Mexico. The Baja California State Police allege that Cesar Hernandez shot and killed a Mexican police officer in Tijuana last week. Hernandez escaped from custody in December. He'd been serving an 80-year prison sentence for first-degree murder at Kern Valley State Prison in Delano. The slain Mexican officer was Abigail Esparza Reyes. She'd been trying to apprehend Hernandez at the time. Hernandez is still on the loose. An order that allegedly bans Asian food trucks from a popular Fresno food truck destination is facing pushback. As KVPR's Joshua Yeager reports, the ban is in effect at the River Park Shopping Center.
Natalie Sakakanoon Simavong and her brother own a popular Laotian food truck known as Sticky Rice on Wheels. They earned loyal crowds at events at River Park stretching back to the pandemic, and so she could hardly believe the message she received last week. The message said that moving forward, River Park is forcing its food truck organizers to, quote, eliminate all Asian food from its events.
The first thing that came up to our mind was, can they do that? We were just speechless.
In a social media statement, River Park officials say the development has a, quote, commitment to its tenants that it must honor. It's unclear which tenants the statement is referring to. The statement also says the shopping center is working with its food truck organizers to review all street vendor permits. For KVPR News, I'm Joshua Yeager.
A new report is raising concerns about the environmental impacts of so-called green hydrogen. California has committed billions of dollars to developing hydrogen as an alternative to fossil fuels in cars and power plants. But a report by UCLA researchers warns that this technology could require vast amounts of water in a state that's already prone to drought. It also requires intensive water treatment, which could be costly. Some advocates warn that hydrogen's water needs should not come before the right to drinking water. A former Fresno baseball star has received another top honor. New York Yankee and former Fresno State star Aaron Judge has been named captain of Team USA for the 2026 World Baseball Classic. Judge played 3 seasons for Fresno State. Since debuting with the Yankees in 2016, he's also won many accolades, including several Silver Slugger Awards and twice being named the American League MVP.
How can I support all the great programs I love on KVPR while gazing at the San Joaquin River with a delicious Pinot or tasty ale in hand? Answer: get your tickets now for the annual KVPR wine and beer tasting on Sunday, May 4th. Dozens of vintners and brewers will be showing off their latest creations. Complimentary round-trip bus transportation, including lunch, will be provided in Bakersfield and Visalia. Tickets on sale at kvpr.org/wine.
And now to our main story. Senator Bernie Sanders was in Bakersfield on Tuesday, where thousands gathered to attend his Fighting Oligarchy tour. He was joined by Congresswoman Alexandria Ocasio-Cortes, who warmed up the crowd.
Hello, Bakersfield! How are we doing tonight?
People packed the Dignity Health Arena, but not everyone was feeling the burn. Bakersfield is a traditionally conservative area, and some outspoken critics showed up to make their voices heard, like Lori Eskew. She had her MAGA flag in hand when she spoke with KVPR's Bakersfield reporter Joshua Yeager.
I don't even know why they would want to come to Kern County. We're a very red dot in the blue state. So I just think that they came here to stir a pot.
24-year-old Brennan Moss drove over an hour from Ventura County to attend. He said he's seeking politicians who are, quote, ethically and morally sound.
I think our oligarchies are in control of Congress and the White House and the Supreme Court in the moment. And the only chance that we have to get rid of them is through progressive candidates in 2028.
The rally lasted just about an hour, and Congressman Ocasio-Cortes and Senator Sanders touched on many issues.
An extreme concentration of power, greed, and corruption is taking over this country like never before. And there's a word for it. It is oligarchy in America.
Right now, in the Congress, there is legislation being prepared, which, if you can believe it, will cut Medicaid by $880 billion.
After the rally, KVPR's Joshua Yeager sat down for an exclusive interview with Sanders. He met the senator in his green room for a brief interview and started off by asking, why Bakersfield?
Bakersfield is one of your few stops in California, and President Trump won Kern County by over 20 points. What made you want to stop here?
Precisely for that reason. I think this is a working class community, and I think if we rally people together to demand an economy that works for all people, healthcare as a human right, and the fact to stop Trump from moving us toward an authoritarian society, I think we have enough votes here to eventually win a congressional race, and certainly to tell the current congressman, Mr. Valadao, that it would be totally unacceptable for him to vote for massive tax breaks for billionaires while making cuts to Medicaid, education, and other programs that working class people desperately need.
And there were dozens of people outside of your rally today opposing your presence here. What's your response to them? You know, what would you say to people who are happy with what Trump's doing right now?
Well, people, in my view, have a right to their own opinion. I happen to believe in democracy. And what I would tell these people, maybe get on the phone, call up the President of the United States, and say that they believe in democracy, the right of people to protest. Yesterday, right in the state of Vermont, my state, there was a gentleman who was living here legally, who was picked up by plainclothes people, thrown into an unmarked car, and faces deportation for no reason that I can understand. And one of the concerns that I raised today, and I think is worrying many, many people, is we're looking at Trump's attacks on the media, attacks on the judiciary, attacks on Congress. This is a guy who wants more and more power for himself. He wants to become, an authoritarian leader, and that is not the kind of government that Americans fought and died to create.
And what are you hoping to come out of this tour? Are you expecting to appeal to or even convert some on the other side? Or are you hoping to rile up your more left-leaning base?
It's not a question of riling up anybody. I think it's doing both. I think all over this country, people who voted for Trump, they're saying, really? Do we want Elon Musk, the richest guy in the world, to go around and throw people off of the Social Security Administration to make it harder for elderly people and the disabled to get Social Security benefits? Do we really want to have Musk fire 83,000 employees at the Veterans Administration so that our veterans will see a deterioration in their health care and a delay in getting the benefits that they deserve? Do we really want to see massive cuts to Medicaid and nutrition programs? So I think a lot of folks who voted for Trump are kind of scratching their heads and saying, no, this is not what we voted for.
And on stage today, you were pretty critical of Congressman David Valadao. That district is more moderate. Do you think that, someone like you, Senator Sanders, someone like Congresswoman Ocasio-Cortes, who are viewed as more progressive, does that make you a good messenger for this specific district?
It's the message, not the messenger. I will bet you dollars to donuts, and maybe your station wants to do a poll. Go out and poll people and ask them whether they think we should give over $1 trillion in tax breaks to the 1% and then cut Medicaid by $880 billion. My understanding is this particular district has one of the highest levels of Medicaid beneficiaries of any in the country. So you got a congressman who's going to have to make a choice. Do you cut Medicaid to give tax breaks to the billionaires? I would suspect that the overwhelming majority of people in this district do not want to see Medicaid slashed for tax breaks to the rich. And I hope the congressman is listening to those people. And in fact, one of the points we made today, I come from Vermont. Alexandria comes from New York City. He should hold a town meeting, just like we did today. We had some 5,000 people out here. Ask people whether they think it's a great idea to give tax breaks to billionaires to cut Medicaid. I think I know what the answer is.
And what do you think the priorities of the Democratic Party should be moving forward? There's a lot of concern that Democrats have lost their identity and aren't unified right now.
Well, it's not a question of being unified. It's the American people, in a sense, are unified. The American people understand that there's something wrong when so few people have so much wealth and power. The American people are unified and understand that we have a corrupt campaign finance system which allows people like Musk in the Republican Party to spend $270 million to elect Donald Trump, and billionaires in the Democratic Party are also playing an outsized role, much more powerful than they should be. The American people understand that we're the only major country on earth not to guarantee health care to all. They understand that we have a housing crisis. So you ask me what the Democratic Party should do? The Democratic leadership should stand up for the working class of this country and be prepared to take on the oligarchy, which has so much wealth and power.
And we're only 3 months into President Trump's presidency. Why do this tour now and not closer to the midterm?
Well, because first of all, I'll tell you why. Because there's going to be what is called a reconciliation bill coming before the Congress in the immediate future. And that is the bill that will give massive tax breaks to billionaires and cut Medicaid and nutrition and housing. And it's terribly important that the congressman in this district, Mr. Valadao, votes against that bill.
That was KVPR's Bakersfield reporter Joshua Yeager speaking with Vermont Senator Bernie Sanders. After his conversation with Joshua, Senator Sanders headed to a second rally 4.5 hours north in the Sacramento suburb of Folsom. Today, Sanders is hosting another rally in Missoula, Montana. And that's today's show. Today's episode was produced by Jonathan Linden and KVPR with support from the Central Valley Journalism Collaborative. I'm Elizabeth Arkalian. Find the latest local news anytime at kvpr.org.
This is Tanya Mosley, co-host of Fresh Air. You'll see your favorite actors, directors, and comedians on late-night TV shows or YouTube. But what you get with Fresh Air is a deep dive. Spend some quality time with people like Billie Eilish, Questlove, Ariana Grande, Stephen Colbert, and so many more. We ask questions you won't hear asked anywhere else. Listen to the Fresh Air podcast from NPR and WHYY.